Stop being your own worst enemy. Here's a hard truth most people never hear. You don't need a toxic enemy to sabotage your life. Your own mind can do that all by itself. And the most controversial part? The battles you're fighting on the outside aren't nearly as destructive as the invisible ones happening inside you. That inner critic, that hesitation, that fear, they can ruin your dreams faster than any breakup, disappointment, or failure ever could. Maybe you've been trying to move on from old habits, old relationships, or old versions of yourself, but something keeps pulling you back. One moment you feel motivated, ready for emotional healing, and the next you're procrastinating, doubting yourself, or replaying the same heartbreak recovery loops you swore you'd outgrow. You tell yourself you'll try again tomorrow, yet tomorrow looks just like yesterday. Deep down, you know you're capable of more. So, why does it feel so hard to actually become that person? The counterintuitive answer, because your mind has learned to trust your fears more than your potential. But here's the reward waiting for you on the other side of this video. Once you understand why you unconsciously sabotage your own growth, you can finally stop doing it. You can rewrite your identity, reclaim your self-love, and step into the version of you that's been waiting for years. And the best part, it happens faster than you think. Once you learn how to get out of your own way. The invisible war between who you are and who you want to be. There's a silent battle happening inside everyone. The version of you that's tired, scared, and full of doubt versus the version of you that knows you deserve more. It's the same inner conflict that shows up when you're learning how to let go of someone, move on after a breakup, or rebuild the emotional healing you've postponed for years. Most people don't fail because life is too hard. They fail because their inner critic talks louder than their potential ever gets the chance to. That inner critic loves to replay old fears, tell you you're not good enough, and whisper that heartbreak recovery is impossible. It convinces you that self-love is optional and that relationship healing is something other people achieve. One actionable way to weaken this voice is by practicing identity journaling. Write down who you are today and then write down who you want to be. The gap between the two becomes your roadmap, clear, honest, and grounding. A powerful example is Lady Gaga. She openly talks about the war between her public persona and her private insecurities, and how she had to fight her inner critic daily to step into the woman she wanted to be. She didn't learn how to let go of someone. She learned how to let go of a version of herself that kept her small. And once you see how this internal battle works, you start noticing the habits that quietly destroy your confidence next. The habits that quietly destroy your confidence. Sometimes it's not the big life events that steal your confidence. It's the tiny habits you repeat every day without noticing. Overthinking makes you doubt every step. Procrastination delays your emotional healing, and perfectionism convinces you that nothing you do is ever enough. These habits slowly weaken your ability to move on, making heartbreak recovery feel heavier than it really is. One of the best ways to catch these habits in action is to track them for a week. Write down every moment you overthink, pause tasks, or criticize yourself. Seeing it all on paper exposes patterns that block relationship healing and chip away at your self-love. A practical tool is the book Atomic Habits, which teaches how tiny changes create massive identity shifts, especially when trying to let go of someone or rebuild after a breakup. A public example is Selena Gomez, who shared how overthinking and perfectionism nearly destroyed her confidence during her most difficult heartbreaks. She learned these habits quietly shape your identity until you decide to take control again. Once you understand how small habits sabotage you, you begin to recognize how your comfort zone slowly becomes a prison. When your comfort zone becomes a prison, staying comfortable feels safe at first. Familiar routines, predictable outcomes, no risks, no surprises. But over time, that safety becomes the very reason you can't move on, rebuild emotional healing, or complete your heartbreak recovery. Your comfort zone convinces you that staying stuck is better than facing the unknown, even when the unknown is where your self-love finally grows. You know this feeling. Wanting change but avoiding action, dreaming of more but staying where you are because it's easier. A simple practical step is what I call the 5% rule. Don't overhaul your life, just push yourself 5% outside your comfort zone every day. That small stretch strengthens relationship healing and teaches you how to let go of someone by creating a future bigger than your fears. A great example is Chris Pratt, who once shared how he lived in his car before fame because he felt safer staying small than taking risks. Once he stepped out of his comfort zone, auditioning, learning, evolving, his entire identity changed. It shows that nothing grows in the place you refuse to leave. And when you stay in the comfort zone too long, negative self-talk takes over next. How negative self-talk rewrites your identity. Negative self-talk is sneaky. It slips into your mind disguised as truth, whispering that you're not enough, not capable, or not deserving of emotional healing. And when you're trying to move on, complete heartbreak recovery, or let go of the identity you held during a breakup, those thoughts hit even harder. What you repeat to yourself becomes the story your brain believes. Your mind loves patterns, even the harmful ones. So if you tell yourself daily that you're a failure, unlovable, or destined to repeat the same mistakes, your brain rewires itself to treat those words as reality. A practical exercise is the thought reversal technique. Every time you say something negative, write a counter thought right below it. Over time, this builds self-love and speeds up relationship healing because you stop being your own emotional enemy. A great example, Lizzo. She spoke openly about her internal battles and how negative self-talk once controlled her identity. Despite her success, talent, and fame, she had to intentionally rewrite her inner narrative to step into the confident, empowered woman the world sees today. And once you understand how your thoughts shape you, you begin to see how fear, especially fear of failure or success, quietly holds you back even more. The fear of failure and the secret fear of success. Most people admit they fear failure, but almost no one realizes they also fear success because it demands responsibility, consistency, and a new identity, one that requires you to move on from who you used to be. This fear quietly blocks emotional healing, slows heartbreak recovery, and keeps you stuck in patterns that feel familiar, even if they hurt. Fear of failure says, "What if I try and it doesn't work?" Fear of success whispers, "What if I try and it does work? Who will I become? What will change?" A powerful exercise is writing down the version of yourself you're afraid to grow into. Seeing it on paper makes it less intimidating and helps build the self-love and relationship healing needed to step forward after a breakup or any major life shift. A great example is Keanu Reeves. Despite his talent, he spent years avoiding big commitments and opportunities because he feared being defined by fame or losing himself. Eventually, he chose to rise. His story proves that fear doesn't disappear. You simply learn to walk forward anyway. And once fear loosens its grip, you begin noticing how certain relationships reinforce your worst patterns next. The relationships that reinforce your worst patterns. Sometimes the people around you don't support your growth. They support your stagnation. They encourage the old version of you, the one still learning how to let go of someone, the one struggling to move on or repeat the same post-breakup cycles. Without noticing, these relationships slow your emotional healing and sabotage your heartbreak recovery long before you realize. Some people validate your doubts, magnify your insecurities, or normalize the very habits you're trying to escape. Pay attention to how you feel after leaving someone's presence. Lighter or heavier? Motivated or drained? A practical tool is the energy check-in. List the people who lift you and the ones who shrink you. This exercise strengthens self-love and fast-tracks relationship healing because you stop confusing emotional comfort with emotional safety. A powerful example is Demi Lovato, who publicly shared how certain friendships and relationships fed her destructive patterns instead of challenging them. Only when she changed her circle, she began rebuilding her identity and taking control of her life. And once you see how relationships shape your choices, you're finally ready for the turning point, becoming someone you can trust. The turning point, becoming someone you can trust. True confidence doesn't come from quotes, pep talks, or waiting for motivation to magically appear. It begins the moment your actions finally match the life you say you want. When you keep promises to yourself, even small ones, your emotional healing accelerates, your heartbreak recovery becomes real, and you finally start to move on from the breakup version of you. This is where identity shifts happen. Becoming someone you trust means choosing self-love over convenience, showing up for your goals on days you'd rather hide, and proving through action that you're capable of relationship healing from the inside out. A simple way to start is with a daily non-negotiable, one tiny action, 10-minute walk, one journal page that you commit to no matter what. A great example is Michael B. Jordan, who rebuilt his confidence by making small commitments to himself every single day, the gym, reading, discipline, until he became a man he fully trusted. That's the turning point, realizing that your future changes the moment you do. And now that you've walked through all 7 layers, your mindset is ready for what's next. Now that you've seen the real reasons you become your own worst enemy, the next move is yours. Awareness means nothing if you don't take action. So ask yourself, what's the one pattern you're finally ready to break? Overthinking, self-doubt, the habit of choosing comfort over growth, or maybe the struggle to move on from the breakup version of yourself that keeps blocking your emotional healing. And here's something powerful. Everything you learned in this video connects directly to the theme of my previous video, how toxic people react when you start setting boundaries. In that video, I showed you how external relationships sabotage your progress. In this one, you discovered how your internal relationship with yourself can do the exact same thing. When you watch them together, your relationship healing becomes faster and your self-love becomes unshakable because you learn to protect yourself from the world and from your own limiting beliefs. So tell me, which part hit you the hardest? Was it realizing your comfort zone became a prison, or seeing how your self-talk quietly rewrites your identity, or noticing how certain relationships reinforce your worst patterns? Comment below. Your insight might shift someone else's entire life. And before you go, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Your growth doesn't stop here, and I want to make sure you never miss the next step in your evolution. There's so much ahead of you, and you deserve every bit of it.